Good morning, one. Good morning, all. Welcome, one. Welcome, all. This is Football Talk with your host, Russell Wayne. That is me. We are streaming live into Mike the Bear Fans page. We are streaming live into the Detroit Lion News. We are streaming live into our YouTube channel, an NFC North main event, and our approaching 10,000 follower page on Facebook, the Villain Squad. And we just crossed 9,000. We appreciate everybody that supports this page and this channel and what we're doing here in the mornings with NFC North Talk with Russell Wayne. But we appreciate the follow. The follows are free. If you like the video that you're watching right now, that is free to you. If you're on YouTube and you're watching on the YouTube channel, which is over here to me, then you can like that video, and that's free. And that's like free love, right? That's like free love. And we had a great week of football this weekend. And I don't know which one I want to start with. I might kind of see what you guys got going on in the comments, who you guys want to talk to. Green Bay demolishes the Rams, and the Vikings also get a win. And then, the Bears were the Bears. And one thing I wanted to do is right here, Bear Down Mike. This is the greatest Chicago Bear fan of all time. He has been through the thick of it. I appreciate you more than you know, Bear Down Mike. Kudos to you for sticking with your team even after losing, because us Lion fans, we know we had to endure a lot of that. And I know another man that had to endure an awful lot of that, but he got to numb it up a little bit because he got nominated for an Emmy. Nominated for an Emmy. So welcome to the program, Main Event Mike.
Thank you, Russ. I was nominated for an Emmy, and I was emanated for a NAMI as well.
You were emanated for a NAMI. All right.
Emanated for a NAMI.
I didn't know that you were in but I think that Bear Down Mike is the greatest Bear fan that I've ever met, because this guy comes in here every week after loss after loss after loss. He was there at 1-5 for them. Came in there during the 1 week of the win, and here he is again after a loss, in there again. I just wanted to put a shout out to him. I don't know if you had anything to say about Bear Down Mike.
Good morning, Bear Down Mike.
All right, then. So Fred says, good morning. It's a great day to be a Lion. Kneecap biting. Jeremy B is in the comments. It was an honor to be able to produce an intro video for you, man. I'm glad that you like that, and I'm looking forward to seeing that out there. And
yeah, I seen it this morning. It looks slick. Nice job, Russ.
I like that. I like to be able to be a designer and to put, putting footage together and stuff like that. That stuff is just fun for me. So no problem there. Fred right here said the Vikings got lucky. Dobbs played well, but they got lucky. Okay. Did they get lucky, Mike?
That's really the big story today, isn't it? Josh Dobbs, in my opinion.
Right.
That's the big story. I mean, Jaron Hall goes down with a concussion. Josh Dobbs comes in after being in the building for only 2.5 days. and comes in and leads his team to victory. Let's face it, Atlanta stinks. All Atlanta had to do was not turn the ball over, and they probably could win that game. But Taylor Heineke could not get it done, and Minnesota goes in. Is that 4 in a row now? Is that 4 in a row for Minnesota? That's a huge story, man. These guys are really overachieving. Kudos to the Vikings and their fans for getting it done and being in this division race, which we didn't think they would be, Russ. We thought the Vikings would be at the bottom of this division, and here they are knocking on the door.
But I came correct on that about 4 weeks ago.
You did.
Yeah. And the thing is like, I don't apologize for it. I mean, but I do acknowledge that I was wrong in that. And I also acknowledge that this could be a dangerous team going down the stretch with good quarterback play. And if Dobbs is going to be a good quarterback, then, you already have Brian Flores way overachieving with that defense and, being able to create turnovers. The Bijan Robinson, the can't miss running back. I mean, they punched the ball right out of his hands. He's looking like maybe he's a little bit turnover prone himself. Yeah, I mean, he's got some slick moves, but that Atlanta team's a little bit better than I think that you give it credit for right there. They were division leading. So that's to me, I think it's a good win for the Minnesota Vikings. And, at 5-4, they got to be thinking about, could they overthrow us? Could this team be good enough down the stretch? I don't think so. I think that we're pretty good, but overachieving for sure. Kudos to Sarah. Kudos to the Viking fans.
I'll tell you what it's going to do. It's going to make week 16 and 18 really crucial, which we didn't think it was going to be a few weeks ago, right? We thought 16 and 18 was going to be a rollover for the Lions. We were entertaining the idea that maybe even Jared Goff would be sitting on the bench because we had the division wrapped up. So I think week 16 and 18 are going to be crucial. Now that the Minnesota Vikings proved that they are the defending division champs and they're not going down without a fight.
Yeah. Rob Newsom says that the Vikings are hanging tough. I'm looking for, right, there we go. And Rob also says, I don't think that Dobbs is as good as Cousins.
Dobbs himself probably doesn't think that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's you don't always need them to be, the greatest in the world. You just need them to be able to make plays in key moments. And he can definitely do that. I want to get back up here.
He impressed me with his feet too. Of course he had to, because he probably wasn't up to speed on the playbook and had to improvise out there. But he had some good, some really good runs to extend plays and keep drives going.
Jeff Addison says he's present and accounted for.
Good morning, Jeff.
And I'm glad that we got that thing cleared up with you, because I really do enjoy your posts. I enjoy anybody that puts football posts up into any of our groups or pages, especially when it's good like that. And he always has good stuff. So I appreciate you being on here and being on the show. Bear Down Mike. I mean, he said Badgett got caught. The secret Bajent man got caught in quicksand. Secret Bajent man. Yeah, evidently someone told the secret, and it definitely was not a good sign right there. I know that you guys are going to be happy to get Justin Fields back.
I don't know. Bears look pretty good. They covered the spread on the road. If I were the coach, I would keep Bajent in there.
Right on. Okay. Right there. Rob says the Bears alone at the bottom again. Yeah, that's why I appreciate Bear Down Mike so much, because I'm not gonna kick a man while he's down. The team's not good right now, right? You're hoping for the future. I like their future better than anybody else's future right now, as far as like being able to acquire talent. I mean, 2 first-round picks this year. They only spent a 2nd-round pick on Montez Sweat. I mean, that might have been an overpay, but when you have an abundance of picks like they do, I mean, you need talent. You need talent in the room. You go out, you get Montez Sweat. Maybe you overpay the guy on a contract, whatever. You need talent, and that's what you did. You brought in some talent. So
when you look at TJ Edwards and Tremaine Edmonds, I believe they overpaid for those guys as
yep.
well. But you bring up a great point, Rick. What the hell is your name? Oh, Russ. So you bring up a good point though, Russ, that they do have a lot of picks. Oh, that's where I was going. Russ and picks. That's how it came out, Rick. Sorry. They do have a bevy of picks for next year, and they have young talent on their team now. So they have a lot of contracts that they can control for $1.50 and a bag of chips. So they can actually afford to pay some of these, overpay for some of these talented, especially on defense. And they are in prime position. If I'm the Bears, though, and I get the number 1 pick, don't you go for Caleb Williams the way this guy's look?
I mean, I
don't you
sure.
throw out Bagent and Fields and you just start over, right?
Yeah. I mean, if you can go out, because I think somebody would still pay for Fields. So if they're going to go that route, I would definitely package Fields up in the off season and
keep Bagent. Bagent's going to be a good backup.
Yeah, he's a good backup to keep on learning. Yeah, but you're like on step 1 of a rebuild where you're acquiring talent, but you're not going to be able to afford to pay all these guys what you're paying them. So you do need to hit on some of these draft picks and keep that salary down. So I mean, but I mean, you got to do it. You got to do it. We'll see what Ryan Poles can do. We'll see if he still believes in Eberflus after this year. So, I mean, he's either going to back the quarterback or back the coach, right? Would you think it was one or the other, Mike?
Yeah,
maybe.
For sure.
I mean, he's Poles is either going all in on Eberflus or he's going all in on Fields and hiring his own coach. You know, I guess you could hire a new coach and get a new quarterback. So,
well, I think that's actually better. If you're going to get rid of Justin Fields, get rid of the coach. If you're going to keep the coach, keep Justin Fields so he doesn't have to learn another system. And that's what it all comes down to, right? Is your belief in Justin Fields. And Ryan Poles didn't draft the guy. He hasn't lived up to the hype. He hasn't shown to be a solid pro quarterback. So I think that is in the cards. Eberflus loses his job and they move on and get a new quarterback and see what they can get for Fields, maybe.
Jeremy B popping in here says that this was a Packers win. Rams was without their QB. That sounds like an asterisk.
Yeah, it sounds like, no, Kelsey didn't play, but it is the quarterback, right? It's the quarterback, though. So that's a bit different.
Yeah, but that's a beatdown, too. I mean, you're looking at a 20-3. Yeah, I mean, you're talking about a truck stick. Okay, they're without their quarterback. Okay, that's fine. That's still a 2-touchdown win.
Yeah, but they got a late score. They had a late score, too. The Rams just couldn't get anything going offensively because they had no quarterback. I mean, Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp, they got some weapons. They could have generated more than 3 points with Matt Stafford. I'm not saying they would have won the game, and I'm certainly not making an excuse for it. Packers won. Good for them. They get their 3rd win of the year. I'm personally just going to leave it at that. Kudos to the Pack for getting their 3rd win.
All right. Well, what I'm going to do, here you go. Jordan Love had a good game. So, 20 of 26. 228 yards, a touchdown, no interceptions. It was efficient, but mainly because Aaron Jones, 20 carries. I mean, he only averaged 3.6 yards a carry, but they were able to control the ball on the ground, which is something that we said at the beginning of the year, that if they can establish the run game and play good defense, whether it's because they didn't have a quarterback on the roster or not, they played good defense and they were able to control they were able to control time of possession, and they did it with the run game. And that's how you win with Jordan Love. So they did a good job. I'm not going to take anything away from them for that, but I will take something away from all the Packer fans that have ghosted, and they may even get a no-fly zone to come in and brag about the win because they weren't here for all the losses.
Mm-hmm. No, Jordan Love shows up well in the box score, like you said, 20 of 26, 228 yards and a touchdown. He had a passer rating of 115.5. That's that's above average. That's not pedestrian.
Sure.
That's very efficient. Good game
and that's
management.
The biggest knock, right? I mean, he can't throw it accurately, and he bucks that trend right there.
And you can give kudos to Aaron Jones, but you know what? He had 20 carries. And when you
Right.
get 20 carries in the NFL as a running back, I want to see you close to 100 yards. He had 73 yards. His longest run was only 9 yards. So controlling the clock, game managing by Jordan Love. If you look at total time of possession, the Packers dominated time of possession, 35 minutes to 25 minutes. So they had the ball a lot longer than the Rams, and the Rams just couldn't get anything going offensively. They 187 yards in total offense. That's ridiculous. You've got Brett Rippon at quarterback and Royce Freeman at running back. Yeah, you should win that game at home, Green Bay, no doubt.
Oh, man. And then, you know what, here, let's put a kudo out there. Emmanuel Wilson. That was one of John Dorn's guys. You know, Emmanuel Wilson, 4 carries, 43 yards, 10.8 yards a carry. You're supposed to say who?
Oh, no, we saw this guy rip off some big runs in the preseason. He had a 31-yarder yesterday, 4 carries, 43 yards. That's a 10.8-yard average. This guy was a beast in preseason. No surprise to me here that he made the team. What did surprise me is when Aaron Jones went down with injury, the guy could barely get 2 yards a carry. So I was thinking, oh, well, maybe it was just a preseason fluke, but he showed up yesterday.
Yep. A.J. Dillon, 9 carries for 40 yards. So they were giving it in big doses. They were hitting them with 3 different styles of running back. And I think that it's unfair on Aaron Jones may have only averaged 3.6 yards a carry, but it did seem like in that game that he was getting all the bitch work. So yeah. They were that all the 1 yards, that 1 yard carries that they needed to get. He was the one they were counting on.
He also had 4 receptions as well for 26 yards. So when you add that in, he had 100 yards from scrimmage.
What's up, A-Dub? A-Dub represent. Yep. He's one of the best Packer fans that there is on planet Earth. Thank you for jumping on the show again. There's Vogel. Hey, Vogel, how about them Carolina Panthers?
Big surprise. Will agrees with Jeremy.
Brent. Morning, y'all. Good morning, Brent. Let's see. Mad respect for Bear Down Mike. Scotty Reno, what's up, man? I'm gonna come over this week. We're gonna hang out and talk some football for sure. Vogel, good morning, Padawan is here.
and I'm impressed that you know the correct spelling of Padawan.
Padawan.
Young Padawan, young Panther Padawan.
Jeremy B says that that video was straight fire. That was fire. All right. 11:06. Man, I must be my phone or my time must be off here.
Oh yeah, you had to go back. You know, you had to fall back.
I did. Jordan says that Dobbs can keep Minnesota competitive in chasing the wild card, but Dobbs start or they will go with Hall if healthy.
I think Jaron Hall has seen his field for this year unless Dobbs gets hurt.
Yeah,
they traded for him to be the starter. He came in with only 2 days and won the game. Yeah, I think it's definitely going to be Dobbs, Jordan.
Yeah, and I got to go up right here with Jeremy right here. Congrats to CJ Stroud, now the single game rookie yardage record holder, 470 yards, 5 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. What do you think about that, Mike?
I think that's great, and it's a good reminder here. The Bears did not draft CJ Stroud, and they could have. And I love that the kicker got knocked out of the game, and Stroud had to take a knee at the end, and we won our bet. We were getting 3 points, and because they took a knee, they won by 2. So I won my bet. I won my lock pick with that bet. And yeah, CJ Stroud, man, he looked great. He even got shook up, banged up on a couple of plays. He pulled himself up, jumped back up, dropped back a couple plays later, threw a touchdown pass. These guys are overachieving. D'Amico Ryans, the front runner for Coach of the Year. CJ Stroud, the front runner for Offensive Player of the Year. Kudos. They crushed that draft. They took a chance and gave up future draft to get Will Anderson and CJ Stroud. It's paying off.
I see. I like it because that my me being the Buckeye slappy that I am. It's nice to have a decent Ohio State quarterback in the league. So that because I've always thought that was a dumb narrative when you use it on anybody. not just Buckeyes, but anytime because there's 119 colleges and you're bound to get one sooner or later.
Yeah.
You know.
And honestly, only in week 9, CJ Stroud's, I mean, it's almost to the point where you could say he's the most successful Buckeye quarterback ever already.
Right. And I mean, but he's it's the Ryan Day from Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer never brought quarterbacks in. That's never the style that they had when he won championships with any of his organizations that he had. And Jim Tressel was the same way. He believed that the punt was the most important play in the game, and they ran the ball, and they never had good quarterbacks. Ryan Day is the first coach that Ohio State's had since I've been watching them that focuses on having a quarterback run the offense. And Fields and Stroud are the first examples of what he brings to the table. So there you go. You know, he's prototypical 6'4", 225-pound dude that, you know, can read defenses, plays in the pocket. So kudos to him. Good job. Bijan said that he was going to have headaches. I don't know. I don't know where that comment comes from. Do you know where that comes from, Mike?
No, but I do remember that play where Brian Branch knocked his helmet off, so maybe that's it.
Yeah. Now when you're comparing the top 2 running backs, it's like, maybe the Lions did get the better deal on a whole package with that. Scratch on Dobbs. I already hit that one. Let me get back down here. Stroud will win. Is winning offensive rookie of the year. I mean, you're a quarterback and you're balling out, so that's probably a lock, don't you think, Mike?
I think, and right now, Jordan Addison for the Vikings would have to be number 2 for me.
All right, so our NFC North is our North. We can cut on each other, but no one else is better. I'm not sure.
He's saying basically, let's, since the Lions are on a bye week, we're rooting for the other division teams, and that's a characteristic of your particular fandom. I root against everyone. I root for everyone to beat the Packers. Sorry.
Yeah, for sure. Jeremy B says there's only 15 people watching and 5 likes. I think it's a little more now. I'm a little late on that comment, but there is some people watching on YouTube right now. Hey, a like is free. That's like, dude, like you push the button and it doesn't do anything to hurt you. It's like, it actually makes you feel good because it makes me smile when I watch that like that. When the light goes up, it makes me feel good. Makes me feel good, and it's free. It's free love. It's free love. And all you need is love. Oh, it's a different kind of season this year. I'm sorry about that. So, Jeremy, you know that I wanted him before the draft, and now I'm so mad at the Panthers. Yeah, Jeremy, the Panthers.
Young. Yeah, Panthers could have had CJ Stroud, right?
They could have had. They could. They chose the 5'1" quarterback, and it's serving them pretty well. And and I am proud of Jeremy and not Jeremy, but of Will, because it is illegal to root for more than one team, and he did come out and declare his Carolina Panthers fandom, and I appreciate you for taking your stand and saying this is where I'm planting my flag.
That's right.
I actually like you better as a Panther fan than as a Lions fan, because I know that your heart's getting pure in there.
Congratulations to Will. Congratulations to Will for coming out.
Oh yeah, God, I got to take the camera off me because I'm blushing now, because this is NFC North talk right here, or just football talk with your host Russell Wayne and main event Mike coming in here, making me blush because I don't want to see you come out, Will. But I like that you are a Panther fan and that you're sticking with it. Okay, A-Dub, moving on. All right, we may have gotten a win based on Stafford being out, which I already knew and I predicted, but It's a win, and we'll take it nonetheless. There's the words of wisdom from one Green Bay Packer fan that A-Dub is his name.
Oh, yeah, I got to agree with that, A-Dub. Congrats to the Packers for getting to 3 wins, as I said before. It's a win is a win is a win. It doesn't matter who played, who didn't play. You know what? You lost Rasul Douglas, and you still won. So, but even you, A-Dub, you've got to admit, when it's your quarterback, a Super Bowl winning quarterback.
It's my quarterback.
I think undoubtedly a future Hall of Fame quarterback, Matt Stafford, not being there tilts the scales a little bit, right? Oh, come on.
That sounds like an asterisk, Mike.
It does. I'm sorry.
In my opinion, the Rams win with Stafford. I don't know. That was a butt whooping. 20-3 is a butt whooping, right? Isn't that what it was? 20-3?
20-3.
20-3, that's a butt whooping. I'm sure Stafford would have scored it. Maybe they would have been closer, but just say that they would have won the game.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know about that, but I know Stafford would have been better than 13 of 28 for 130 yards and a passer rating of 45. That much I know for sure, that Stafford would be better than that.
Maybe Joe Barry's getting it together, and all of a sudden the defense is starting to come through.
Oh, did you see the roast I sent you for tonight? Oh,
yeah, we're gonna have some fun tonight. I hope that we do get out there and you do come out, everybody. Tonight, Main Event Mike hosts this really, really cool show, the NFC North Open Mic. Now, we've kind of changed it a little bit. We used to say don't bring your feelings, but obviously feelings got involved, and we hurt some feelings, Mike. So we're changing the delivery on this. Now it's going to be more like a couch therapy session where you have to get a tame main event, Mike, because y'all can't handle the sting of the king of sting. So, he's not going to bring his stinger out. He's going to take your feelings into consideration. We understand that Packer fans are emotional and they let the butt hurt flow through them. Mm-hmm. We used to suffer from PTSOL, but we don't anymore. Now it's the Packers that they suffer from butt hurt, and it's flowing through them, and they may be healing a little bit today, Mike.
Well, they
Russ, gotta win.
Russ, I love symmetry. If you know me, I love things to be in order and symmetrical, and I love the number 7. So it is with great privilege that I announce today that it has been 777 days since the Packers have beaten the Lions as of today. So that's a very good thing. I kind of want to talk about these Bears, though, man. I know they lost the game, and I know Tyson Bagent threw 3 interceptions, but they were in that game all the way. And they played very hard. I was able to watch a good portion of that game, and I was impressed with the way the Bears played. Montez Sweat didn't have a sack in his Bear debut, but he was in on a lot of plays. He only had 2 tackles, but he was wreaking havoc there on the line. And Dante Foreman had another good game. He had 20 carries for 83 yards, about the same as Aaron Jones, excuse me. So I really think the Bears are onto something. And like you said, I like them moving forward for next year more than I like Minnesota or Green Bay next year. I think Chicago is putting it together. Ryan Poles actually doing a very good job, I think, even though it might not be translating in the win column. It reminds me a lot of the Lions from last year. And to go back what you were saying about tonight on the NFC North Open Mic, you're right. We're not trash talking anymore because they all went into hiding when their team lost. But the Packers did win yesterday. I do expect to see a few Packer fans in there tonight, like whack-a-mole. They're ready to pop back up. And they're expecting Main Event Mike to just whack them back down. But I am a kinder, gentler Main Event Mike now. I realize that they are very sensitive and emotional, and I don't want to, destroy anyone. So, show me on the doll where Aiden Hutchinson hurt you.
But we look at these games objectively. I'll give you credit, and I'm one of the people that I believe in fandom, right? No matter what. And that's why I appreciate like a bear down Mike and, like A-Dub. And A-Dub, you get to go out and metaphorically run through the streets naked for 7 days. You won. It's hard to get wins in the NFL. And when you get a win, you should appreciate the win because you never know if that win turns into a win streak, especially when you're dealing with young players. And Green Bay has a very young team as well. They got rid of one of their veteran players in Rasul Douglas. So now they're depending even more on young players that are developing. Who knows? Who knows what you can get? This is a house money year for the Green Bay Packers. So I don't understand why they're so emotional. Like if I'm a Green Bay Packer fan, I'm gonna weather this storm. I mean, maybe it doesn't turn out good this year. I don't think that the Green Bay Packers are going to go on some kind of win streak or anything right now, but you do get to see what you have in some of the players that were drafted. You get to see if you want to fire Joe Barry by the end of the year, and then you might make some changes, but you got some extra draft picks. You got a young team already.
The youngest team in the league, and Jordan Love is progressing, and as he gets more wins under his belt, he could get a lot better, and they might have their future quarterback here.
So there you go. I'm trying to be as fluffy and as nice as possible right there. And in the Chicago Bears, you're in a rebuild. I mean, you're in the midst of it. I mean, some of the big players you're going to bring in aren't going to work. Some of them will work. Then you keep the players that work and get rid of the players that don't work and wash, rinse, and repeat until you got a roster. I mean,
and the Bears outgained the Saints yesterday in almost every statistical category. They had more total yards, they had more first downs, they were efficient on third down. They only lost by 7 points, and their quarterback threw 3 interceptions. So you clean up those interceptions, and they win that game.
In theory, you're right, because you look at the run game with them. Donta Foreman, 20 carries, 83 yards. That's not anything to write home about, but it's 4.2 yards a carry. I mean, obviously, if you do the math on that and you times that by 3, you could run the ball and get first downs. Tyson Bagent had 8 carries for 70 yards. Roschon Johnson had a couple carries. But when you're running the football and you're averaging over 4 yards a carry, that's usually a recipe for success. And like you had said, if he cleans up them 3 interceptions, maybe you're talking about a Bears win instead of a loss.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what else we got here in the comments, because I know every time you and I start talking to each other, I get way behind on these comments right here. Lions Rumble saying, good morning, fellas. Is it Sunday yet? Roaring and soaring. You need to re-put up that post that you had with the guys standing around and being like Lions fans waiting through the bye week. And you're just kind of like standing out there with a football helmet on.
Hello, Lion Rumble. I got to meet Lion Rumble on Jeremy's podcast the other day. Really great Lions podcaster down there in Florida, and I had some great takes on Jeremy's show. We'd love to have you on this show too, Lion Rumble. If you ever want to come on, you're more than welcome.
Yeah, we got some pretty exciting news as we're on our way to 10,000 right now. So we just crossed the threshold of 9,000 followers on our Facebook page. And really, that's more of a testament to you guys, because really we run kind of like we're fans, man. We're fans. We ain't no professionals. I don't, watch tape with, and I'm not smart. I mean, when I consider watching tape, I watch the replays of all the games and stay up with football and everything like that. But we're just football fans. We're football fans that value family first, faith, family, and then football, right? We use football. We don't let football use us. We use football to create moments with our family. That's how I like to do that. So, let's see. But thank you, Lions Rumble. Yeah. Paul Jones says without Stafford, the offense was 3 and out and left the defense on the field the entire game. That's true. I mean, you're right. You're right. I mean, maybe they would have won with Stafford for whatever, but you got to play the team that's in front of you. I am not going to fault the Green Bay Packers for beating the team that was across the field from them.
Right. I watched the fourth quarter of that game, and Aaron Donald, as everyone knows, the hardest working guy in the NFL, always has been since he came into the league. He was absolutely gassed, Russ, in the fourth. You could see him sucking wind. He was gassed. And if Aaron Donald is gassed, your defense is in trouble.
Correct. And Jordan right here, how about them Ravens repeating a blowout win against the Seahawks? So maybe the Ravens are good. Maybe the AFC should be looking at the Ravens as a possible Super Bowl contender, because when Lamar Jackson is on, it's really lights out for anybody. I mean, what are you going to do to that, Mike?
And what might be flying under the radar here is Todd Monken, the new offensive coordinator for the Ravens. We might be looking at a future head coach here because he has really found a way to play to Lamar's strengths and not have him run the ball so much, but find ways to get him involved in the run game that don't put him at risk and still keep moving the change and let Lamar do. And Lamar looks better as a passer than I've ever seen him. And boy, Jordan brings up a great point. I had picked Seattle in that game. I thought 6.5 was way too many. And that game was over by halftime. And here we see the Ravens blowing teams out again, right?
Good teams.
Seattle and Detroit, inarguably two of the best 5 teams in the NFC. And they blew us out. So maybe the Lions or the Seahawks will get another crack at them in February in the Super Bowl, because the Ravens might have home field going all the way through, and they're proving to be real tough there.
And I love it. And with the young team, this team is going to get better. The Lions team will get better just by progressing. And I know every team has rookies. What are you doing, man? Every team has rookies. No, we have a lot. 80% of our roster is first, second, or third year players. There's only a couple of savvy veterans that are on there, and those guys are definite leaders of the team. But the rest of those guys are going to continue to get better. All of them, 80% of our team. So there's going to be a leveling up of ships things that's happening right there. As I get into Mike saying that every team doesn't win the Super Bowl but loses a QB or a number 1 star gets an asterisk. You get an asterisk. You get an asterisk. Everybody gets an asterisk. It's like Oprah. Oprah's giving asterisks away to everybody. My gosh, your top players were gone, so it don't count. That's part of it. Be healthy.
Can you say asterisk for me one more time?
Asterisks.
It's giving me a headache. Move on. Nah, bring the mane out, Mike. Let them feel the sting. They have an anti-venom for stings. Yeah. They can't handle it, Rumble. They can't handle it, bro. They're so soft. Those Packer fans, first they started deleting my comments when I would roast them in the group. They would delete them. And then when I called them out for deleting them, the response I got was, "What are you even doing in here? You're not even a Packer fan."
So we're going to start.
Wait, then they removed me from all the groups, and they even removed me from the chat. And that, my friends, in the world of trash talk is how you win. When they pull you out or they quit and walk away, you win. And I have won. I have retired as the king. Anybody wants a piece, they can come on Monday nights and try to get a piece. But I mean,
they don't want none of that.
And the saddest part is we've been their freaking punching bag for 30 years. And now the tables have turned for only 8 games, and they're already crying and going, it's disgusting. If you've got a backbone and you're a fan of the other 3 teams, come on in. We won't attack you or anything. Hey, if you want the smoke, we'll give it to you.
And there's nothing wrong with NFC North, the huddle, but that place it used to be good at trash talk, but now that group has become more of a safe space for the crying Packer fans.
Yeah, it's a Packer circle jerk.
It's and a bunch of yes men from the other fan bases. But we'll call it what it is. If they want to get a piece, come in and get a piece of Mike tonight on NFC North open mic. and you can come in and get it. You can come in and get the piece, but we're going to keep it as the couch session. We'll keep it some football talk. We understand. We understand what losing is like. So, I mean, you guys gave it to us for 3 years and we just took it. That's the funniest thing. Like all emotional. Wait a minute. You made fun of my team. You said my team sucked. It does. Your team does suck. I'm sorry. I don't care about feelings.
So I
Rob
better
don't
not
care
be
about
there. No, Rob, show up and just trash him in the comments.
Yeah. I mean, that's and we're just giving them a hard time anyway. It still is a trash talking group, but it has been a pretty silent in there. And we just end up talking football because nobody wants to come in and get a piece of them. Yeah. I like Bajent. He's going to get better if he plays.
I love that take. I love that take. You look at Peyton Manning. He was an interception machine his rookie year. Tyson Bagent has looked pretty good if you take out the rookie mistakes. He looks like he's got promise for sure.
Let's see. Foreman only got 2 touches in the fourth quarter. Getsy is an idiot.
I think that's a solid take. I mean, Foreman was being effective on the ground and they went away from it. But then again, you guys were down the whole game. Like you were playing catch up the whole game. Every time you'd start to get some momentum, there'd be a turnover. You'd have to start over. So I think Getsy did what he had to do in the situation.
Right. And Sabrina says, have a great day, Russell Wayne Mettler. Well, have a great day, Sabrina.
Have a great day, Russell Wayne Mettler, and suck it, main event, Mike.
I'm sure that's what she was thinking too. Barrett Mike says, you see a struggling QB that's thrown multiple interceptions. Don't change anything. We have multiple chances to tie up the game. Yeah, I mean that's I look at those stats, man. Even Bajent with the 3 interceptions, he wasn't like, I mean, without those interceptions, it isn't an awful game when you add the rushing in there. He was making plays. They were in a one score game. Yeah, you lost the game. I don't think that New Orleans won the game. I think that Chicago lost the game because they had chances. You know, they squandered their chances to win that game. And let me look at when you look at the Saints. You know,
yeah, I was mildly impressed with Taysom Hill. That's the first time I really got a good look at him. I know there's a lot of, just on highlights usually, but I was mildly impressed with that guy. A tight end throwing dime. Yeah, he's throwing dime touchdown passes, this guy, and running the ball. This guy's a weapon.
Man, so let's see. Lions Rumble is the window for the Packers to jump out of. Oh, okay, must be extending a conversation right there. Definitely about a growth and development in the youth improvement in Green Bay. A-Dub. Oh, A-Dub could coach the damn team. He's so damn smart. Brent says, are you guys upset with Hutch? Do you think he should do more? I don't, but a video was made about guys only Hutch gave a B- to. Okay, that's fine. I mean, I don't know. Are you really worried about what somebody else thinks about Hutch? I mean, Hutch is a dominator.
Yeah, I'm not worried about Hutch one bit or upset with Hutch. If you watch him being neutralized, what he's doing is eating up other defenders. Aleem McNeil has already doubled his sack total from last year. Don't think for 1 minute that's not because of what Aiden Hutchinson is doing. He's bringing the motor. When I see his motor slow down, when I see him being taken out by one player on every play, then maybe I'll get worried. Right now, he's doing what Aiden's done since he's been here, and that is feeding the defense. The whole defense feeds off of him. And when he's bringing the pressure and being a beast, it doesn't really matter what his box score is. I've come to realize that.
Tomorrow we're going to do some PFF experiments with that, Brent. So I definitely want you to come to tomorrow's PFF unleashing right here. And I want to bring up some numbers that would support, some of these ideas, like that we needed a pass rusher opposite Aiden that that we needed to acquire via trade or somehow do that. And I can rebut that because of the way that you can look at the snaps. So Aiden Hutchinson plays about 90 to 100% of the defensive snaps when he's out there. He's out there. The motor's the reason. Now, the one that's opposite of him, those guys, there's like 5 guys that are rotating in and out of that other defensive edge. Sometimes it's Romeo, sometimes it's Josh Pascal, sometimes it's Kaminsky, sometimes it's Charles Harris, and James Houston's going to be coming back. Sometimes it's Derek Barnes on that side. Sometimes it's Jack Campbell on that side. So getting a full-time defensive end opposite of Aiden, really all it does is devalue the other players that are on the team when they're trying to do a rotation. And you don't see a guy popping off with 5-6 sacks on the other side. What you do is you see like 5 guys that have 2 sacks.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I hope that answers the question.
Well, if you put it in context, you look at the Cleveland Browns, for instance, Zadarius Smith on one side, Myles Garrett on the other end. Okay. We don't have that other guy right now. Maybe James Houston comes back and is that guy. Maybe Charles Harris can put it together and be that guy. But like you said, we have a rotation of guys filling that other end. But here's the thing. And then there's, someone last week said the old saying, if 2 on me, then 1 is free. Right. So Aiden eating up that double team is allowing other guys to feast. However, there's a flaw in that. If you look at base package for an offensive line, you got two tackles, 2 guards, and a center. That's 5. You put in a tight end. Now it's 6. You go double tight end set. That's 7. Right. You have to be able to get pressure with 4 guys on the defense in this league. In today's NFL, you need to get pressure with 4 guys. That's why interior defensive tackles, their salaries are going up, because getting pressure from the middle is what's separating these teams' defensive lines. Right. And a player like Aaron Donald becomes so valuable. And Aleem McNeil, now the ascension of Aleem McNeil is bringing us that. So
who beat some double teams, by the way.
Yeah, and was beating them, yeah. And you've got guys being double teamed. If they're in just base personnel, you're looking at 6 on 4 already. Right. So you've got to get pressure with 4 guys in this league from the line. That's what the successful defenses do.
And
I think I agree with Brent. I would love to see us get an impact edge rusher to go opposite. I mean, if we were to get Max Crosby
let me ask you this, because this is at the risk of snaps, right? The way that they're doing it is they're rotating that third spot. No, you're not going to have a guy step up that is going to be the alpha dog on the other side. But what you do have is a constant freshness of that. Now, if you put another guy in that's eating up all those snaps, well, then those other guys aren't going to come in as much. You're not going to have that rotation in the back and fresh guys. You already got a 100% motor guy. So I can't agree. And it's okay. If you guys think, if we got Max Crosby, yeah, maybe you can, put somebody different, into those spots. Maybe you can keep a couple extra linebackers or cornerbacks instead of defensive linemen. But right now, they have built the team like this, and it would defeat the purpose of their own strategy to do what you guys want to do. It just doesn't make sense. But I understand why you would want another dominator there. So I'm not going to beat you up over wanting that.
Well, the trade deadline has come and gone.
Yep.
So our chances of getting that player is now out of reach until March. Players cannot be traded after the trade deadline. That was a question we had last week, and I was able to get the answer. There's no penalty stuff involved. Players cannot be traded after the deadline until March, which is after the Super Bowl, of course. So Max Crosby is going to be a free agent at the end of the year. He signed a 3-year deal, so I think it's a pipe dream, right? I mean, the guy's not coming, but there are some free agent defensive ends that could be a good target for the Lions.
But that is the level of guy, like in my own personal opinion, I'm just Russell Wayne, bad opinion guy, right? That Max Crosby was the only defensive end that was even talked about that I really, really wanted. If we were going to make a move and trade multiple high round picks and pay a guy, it was Max Crosby. I mean, I couldn't even really subscribe to the Danielle Hunter thing unless it was a way good deal because it was only half a year and all that, you know. But paying a guy and bringing him, I mean, I believe in Brad Holmes' brain. You know, don't trade a 3rd round pick. That's how you got to lean. Like, I want your brain. And then that way you got guys that are here for 4 years at least playing for $1.50, and then you have control of them. Like, these high price guys, I mean, come on. Like, I don't know. That's just my opinion. But what do you guys think out there? It doesn't even matter what we think. What do you think about like trade deadline stuff? Did your team not do enough? Did your team do enough? Bear fans, do you like the trade of Montez Sweat? Were you able to was it too high? Was it too much money? Was it perfect? How you feeling about that? How'd you feel about Green Bay Packer fans? You traded Rasul Douglas, one of your best defensive players, away. Was that a sign of wanting to see what you had in the youth? I mean, you packing it in a little bit right there. Viking fans, how you feeling about Dobbs? Wow, a 6th round pick. God, some of the guys could argue that he's better than Cousins, right? Sign him to a multi-year deal right now.
It's my quarterback.
We're going to win the Super Bowl. Let's go Vikings, right? Skull, where they at? No believers yet. And Lion fans, did we miss the window? Are you upset that San Francisco paid a 3rd round pick and got Chase Young? Does that make you upset? Or do you feel how I feel, where it's an injury risk? You're giving up draft capital, like a guy that Brad Holmes has already proven that he can hit in the 3rd round and everywhere he picks. You want to give up future assets to bring in a guy with a question mark that you don't even know is going to play hard for your team. And then you have to sign, you got to pay this guy at the end of the season. Is that what you wanted? Was Chase Young the answer? I mean, did that make us a Super Bowl contender? If we would have just got it done, would we be a Super Bowl contender with Chase Young on our team or Montez Sweat? Should we offered a 1st round pick and got him? Outbid the Chicago Bears?
No,
what do you want?
Kudos to Ryan Poles for getting him signed. If
Yep.
you hadn't assigned him, it would have been a big blunder. Big blunder to give up that pick and not sign him. I think they did overpay him when you look at his stats, but he's a younger player. He showed a lot of promise. And like you said earlier, they got a lot of cap room and a lot of money.
Well, they got to spend the money for one. I mean, you got to spend that money. And they were in danger of, having to figure out and pay some people that weren't that talented in order to get in that threshold of where they needed to be with the cap. So at least they got a talented player. So I'm not going to poo-poo on that pick. I mean, I could criticize it by saying they overpaid, but that's what you got to do. I mean, we had Michael Brockers on our team for $10 million a frickin' year for 2 years. So it's like at the beginning, I mean, they're not beating your door down. Oh, I can't wait to play for your awesomely awful franchise. They don't want to do that until they find something. They have something they can, buy into. Can I win a championship with this team? Those guys want to know that. Wow, that sounds cool. Do you hear that? I hear some I think I'm getting some alien interference in my headset.
Must be that metal plate in your head.
Yeah. Yep.
I want to talk about these Minnesota Vikings right quick. Joshua Dobbs, 20 of 30. That's 66%, folks. That's the league average. He's only been in the building 2 days. That's pretty efficient for a guy like that. Only 158 yards. He had a passer rating of a 101.8. Not bad. I can definitely say that's better than Jaren Hall would have done. Even though Jaren Hall was 5 of 6 for 78 yards before he went out with a concussion. Alexander Madison was the 2nd leading rusher on the team, while Josh Dobbs led the team with 66 yards rushing. Madison only 2.8 yards per carry. This is what he's been doing all year. We knew he wasn't an RB1 coming in. Kudos to them, though, man. They go down and beat the Falcons 31-28. They were a 4-point underdog. And And Sarah even says, I'm very proud of my
Yep.
team. Everyone stepped up. The coaches stepped up and created a game plan to fit a rookie quarterback. Hall and Dobbs are similar in play style, so that helped out a lot. Man, that's such a great take, Sarah. That the game plan they planned for Hall, Dobbs was able to step right in and fit right into that game plan. And the guy's a gamer, right? That's why they traded for him, even though he's only 1-7 as a starter with Arizona. He's a gamer, and they knew he was probably the best option out there, I think, at for the Vikings. Kudos to Kwesi finally doing something that was, worthy of mentioning in a positive light. The defense, Jordan Hicks had 11 solo tackles, 11 tackles, 9 solo tackles. They played tough. Byron Murphy with an interception. Hey, man, I'm
The
really
guys
shocked.
that they picked up, the guys
that was it was your lock pick was Minnesota to lose that game by more than 4. And so they surprised a lot of people, and they are for real, and they are not to be taken lightly.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. It's like we give kudos where that we no one thought that Minnesota was going to win that game. I mean, even the people that picked Minnesota picked them to cover. They didn't pick them to win. They didn't think that there's any way they're going to go in there. I mean, I don't know. Maybe without I mean, I don't know. What do you think? I mean, the Vikings get that win. I mean, it was a good game. They beat a good team.
Yeah, I bet there weren't a lot of bets on the money line for Minnesota though on that one. Yeah, Bijan Robinson, his yards per rush is really impressive. Bijan, 11 carries, 51 yards for a 4.6 yard average. He had a long run of 14. And then they give Tyler Algier even more carries than him. I don't understand that. The guy's running at 4.6 yards per clip. He's talented. He could break any run that he gets the ball. Could be for a touchdown. He's a threat for that. But yet they give Algier 12 carries when he's only rushing for a 3.2 yard per clip average. I just don't understand that play calling.
I mean, it just does. I mean, I get you too, because they were saying the same thing with Jahmyr Gibbs when they at the beginning of the season. It's like, you got this guy, you got this, why don't you use him? And I do think that it is, working him into the system. I mean, Tyler Algier had a pretty good year last year, and he kind of earned his spot at the top of that depth chart. And you know how they split carries. I mean, they were pretty close, weren't they?
I mean, 11 and 12. Yeah, they're almost identical. I mean, but to your points about Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery was tearing it up.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So that's a different story. If Jahmyr Gibbs is blowing it up and Montgomery's only running for 3 yards a carry, it wouldn't have been like that.
Right. Well, they have the thunder and lightning thing going on there. Actually, to tell you the truth, that Robinson fumbling the ball, that might have had something to do with Algier getting more carries. Hey, you fumbled the ball, dude. I mean, you got to hold on to the rock. We're gonna put the veteran in there. And I did send an invite out to Jeremy B. He's like, I don't know if I'm putting so many of the public invites out during the morning anymore, but we'll get all of our credible people on here that we want to, because not that we're credible. We need credible people like Jeremy B. So welcome to the program, Jeremy B.
Thank you very much, guys. How's it going?
Hey, Jeremy, missed you at the show yesterday.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I had a few things going on.
No problem. I would be remiss if I didn't mention it.
I know.
So we got the Vikings getting a win and the Packers getting a win.
Yep.
In the Lions bye week. What's the biggest takeaway or the biggest impact for you on those outcomes?
Dobbs looks like he might be a decent pickup for the Vikings, which that means they'll probably secure second place in the North, and Packers are doing enough to not be in the basement with the Bears.
That's a very solid take. So how much did Matt Stafford not being there impact the Rams Green Bay game?
Well, if you saw it, it was huge, because both Nakua and Cooper Kupp only had like 40 yards receiving on 2 catches, because Brent Ripien or Brian Ripien, whatever his name is, was straight dog crap.
So
And Steve is real. Yes, that mentioned something while I was in the chat, and I'm going to agree with him. Anthony Johnson Jr. could be that stolen UDFA late round pick that plays like Brian Branch.
okay, all right, and the loss of Rasul Douglas didn't seem to matter.
No, it didn't. But again, you had a dog water quarterback that hasn't played all year. So at that point, I'm going to say to Packers fans the same thing they said about us beating the Chiefs. That's an asterisk win.
Okay.
Well,
What is that? What is going on with that?
He's just whispering in the background. And it's awesome.
Yeah, I'm whispering in the background. It's kind of to me, in my mind, it seemed like the boats and hose thing. Like,
Boats
you know,
and asterisk.
With the
I gotta
delay.
jump off, Ross. I'm gonna leave you and Jeremy to it. Can I promote the show?
Please, because it's going to be better than this one.
It is tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern time. It's the main event. Mike hosting the NFC North Open Mic Night. All 4 fan bases. We're talking about them just like we are in this show, but it's a little different. It's a little more edgy, and there will be some developments today and some quotes that we can touch on this evening. It's only a once-a-week show. NFC North Open Mic, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Please be there. God bless all of you.
Wow. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate you, brother, right there. And if you can see these QR codes, that's how you get to the page. If you're on the YouTube channel, that's how you get to the page. Use that little QR code right there. And then on this one right here would be the YouTube channel, and it would take you there. We appreciate anybody that would like or follow or share the content. If you're watching a video right now, wherever you're watching it from, hit the like button, man. That's free. That helps us out, and it helps us reach more and more football fans each and every day, man. And it's been a cool week of football, even though the Lions didn't play. Lions got a big game coming up, going all the way out west and out to LA, back in that spot where the Jared Goff stomping grounds.
I'm gonna say he's going home.
Yeah.
Where he played for what was it, 2-3 years there? Maybe 4.
Well, I mean, he played his college career there too, didn't he?
No, I'm talking about in that stadium.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. I think that this is a different Charger team than we thought at the beginning of the season.
If Dobbs keeps balling out, will he be their quarterback of the future? I don't think so. No, I mean, I think they're going to go young myself.
Well, I mean, they got a guy, and I mean, Jared Hall was 5 of 6 in that game. Yeah. I was like,
82%. I think that was what it breaks down to.
And I think that Dobbs could rival what Kyler Murray was doing. I mean, the guy is a gamer. I think he could be a surprise. He looks accurate in the pocket too.
The difference between Kyler Murray and Dobbs is Dobbs opens the playbook.
Right.
I mean, he's a smart guy. He reads the playbook. He is semi-athletic. He does not use his athleticism first. He is a pocket passer first and uses his athleticism to escape pressure. That's the biggest thing I see with Dobbs.
Yeah, and the other thing that works really good for the Minnesota Vikings is their schedule. Their schedule isn't that hard coming up, and they can win these games with Dobbs.
They still got a couple first place teams to play in there, don't they? Or did they play them all already?
No, they do play them, but the stretch that they have coming up isn't that hard. So they had this game that was I considered probably the least winnable out of them, but they were able to get it done. Vikings, Falcons. So they're playing the Saints next week, then the Broncos, then the Bears, then the Raiders. So,
and the Raiders are playing totally different without Josh McDaniels there, as we expected. It's so just like when Bisaccia left or took over. You know what I'm saying?
So I'm looking at those next 4 games for them. I mean, winning 3 of 4 with a backup quarterback is not out of the stretch of the imagination. That would put them at 8 wins right there going into the stretch again where they go into it's Bengals, Lions, Packers, then Lions again. So yeah, they may lose some of those games down a stretch, but they can still get to 10 wins.
Yeah. I said they're playing for second
Yep.
place.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to overtake us or anything like that because I think our schedule is equally is winnable. Where I don't even really say like if the Chargers don't beat us, then it's like Dallas, and outside of that, we should be favored in any game. We're going to be favored in this game on the road, I think. But I think that Dallas will probably be the only game for the rest of the season that the Lions won't be favored in as far as, the Vegas bets.
Unless something catastrophic happens.
Well, of course. Yeah. I mean, we don't want to lose anybody, but, I mean, are we in the Hendon Hooker window? I mean,
we might be by week 16 because if we've got the one seed and everything wrapped up by then, you might want to say, hey, let's see what he's got.
Man, that would be awful for poor Bridgewater. That's a revenge game. Week 18, Bridgewater's going to put it to your asses. Okay? You heard it here. Right here. Actually, you heard it here at the beginning of the season where I just thought it would be hilarious to have the Lions have the division all wrapped up going into week 18, and then you put in Bridgewater, and then Bridgewater gets a revenge game because you did him dirty. You did him dirty. You did him dirty. And he's been thinking about that ever since he came back from that catastrophic knee injury that you cut him after.
Well, yeah, absolutely, Sarah. Their next hard game is the Bengals.
Oh, man. So, yeah, look at this beautiful thing right there. I mean, the NFC North going 2-1, and the Lions didn't even play in the game. I mean, I got to put the kudos out there because, I mean, we give them the love. Good job to
y'all won when
Green Bay Packers.
Team won when nobody thought they had a chance, and one team won against a team that struggles if their rookie running back doesn't do well. And what somebody mentioned earlier about the headaches, Bijan Robinson has missed a total of 7 quarters of football due to massive headaches ever since the Brian Branch hit.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, he, that's the only thing that scares me about Brian Branch is the way he does hit people. I don't want his career to be sure,
Well, he doesn't really lower his head, though. All of them have been clean hits. He's hitting with the shoulders and the chest. So
I'm just saying, you remember what's his name? Delmas, the human missile. I just don't want him to be like that.
Yeah, I don't think he plays with quite that reckless of abandon. He just is that sure of a tackler.
And go ahead and talk about how, I mean, and I'm not going to push back all that much. I believe in Hutchinson, but I wanted you to give me your honest critiques on Hutchinson for all of the Hutchinson critiquers.
So if you go into the next gen stats, he's the second most, tied with Myles Garrett for double teams in the league. And he's first in triple teams. And everybody's like, well, how can it be a triple team? I said, well, when he's double teamed with a tight end and a tackle at the line, spins through that, and then gets through and then gets chipped by a running back, that's a triple team. So he's the first in the league. And he's also first in pressures with 120. I understand he's not hitting home, but when you're the only guy that consistent, when the team only has a total of 159 pressures so far,
right,
that tells me it's more on coaching and how he's dialing up the pressures outside of Hutch.
Yeah, I mean, but the thing is like I'm
because we saw
I'm a full believer in where the Holmes and Dan Campbell, like I am so on lockstep that they didn't need to go out and get nobody. Yeah. I'm with you on that because we were talking about that because there's a lot of upset Lions fans that are out there that we didn't go out and get somebody. And I think I broke it down pretty well earlier because Hutchinson is the only one that's playing 90% plus of the snaps. Right. The other guys are getting rotated in 25-30% of the snaps, and that's what they want. But if you look 5 fresh guys.
If you look at the games where we had pressures from the other guys, it's because of the scheme they dialed up. They were stunting and actually blitzing. In the games we don't get a lot of sacks, guess what they're not doing? They're just rushing the four. They're not blitzing.
But they're playing it's like a contain run stuffing style when it comes with that. No, they don't get as many sacks with that, but they do contain the run very well with those front, which leaves all of the other guys in the secondary to cover on the back end.
Except in the game where I call out AG for sitting Charles Harris, because he is our defensive D-line captain, and with him being that disrupted the chemistry of that game going into the Ravens game, because he was our best run stuffing DN. So they were able to run over that side all day long.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about that. That was just a bad game all around when it came down to it. But
he was a healthy scratch, is what I'm getting at. He
for
wasn't
sure,
hurt.
for sure. There's been a couple of those that were like, I mean, even what's his name, Bugs being a healthy scratch. I think that we have so much great depth that they are letting guys come in and out because the next man up can play. Right. I mean, they put Broderick Martin and finally got him some snaps in this last game.
And he was semi-productive. When I say semi-productive, what he did do is he's a continent of a man,
right?
Not just a mammoth. He's a continent. And so he was taking up 2 and 3 blockers, half an O-line.
There you go.
And that's what freed up 3 of the sacks we got while he was on the field. Tracy Walker sack, one of Alex's, and one of Aline's. And everybody says, oh, that was Burrito. I said, no, it was not Burrito Jones. He was wrapped up at the line like always.
And you know how we all tried to figure out what the defense is that they're going to be running? I believe that they've built, it's not a 4-3 and it's not a 3-4. It's not a 4-2-5. It's whatever the F it needs to be. And they can play in all 3 of them, rushing more linebackers, or they can put less defensive linemen. So I think that Charles Harris got caught in one of those tweakings, how they wanted to run defense, and it was wrong. He made the wrong call.
Right. The problem was Josh Pascal just came off of injury and had to be active that week, and they chose the wrong guy to sit, in my opinion. At that point, you would had to have looked at Levi Onwuzurike, Comiskey, who has been okay in the run, but not providing the pressure and the help in the pressure room like he did the previous year. One of those guys would have been better to sit.
Yeah,
Charles Harris is what I was getting at.
Sure. Back to the Hutchinson thing here. I think because I do see some other Hutchinson comments in here. He is getting a lot of no holding calls. I mean, it's like, I'm not going to bitch about refereeing all that much, but we won the last game. So I'm going to go ahead and do my bitching about it, because they miss all of these calls. And I don't know if they're going to start getting them right later. It isn't just with the Lions. It's with a lot of pass rushers. They're letting these offensive linemen hold these defensive linemen and pass rushers. I don't know if they're going to clean that up, but he's either being doubled or he's being held. I mean, that's right there. Oh, no, this was this comment right here. Hutch gets a lot of no holding calls. There's literally hanging on his neck, and the official doesn't call it, especially on game-winning plays. That's where it pisses me off.
The other thing is that if you look at it, Hutch doesn't sell the hold quick enough. Usually the play is already passed before he reacts to it.
He needs to go to LeBron James' school of flapping.
Yeah, I don't want him to do that, but I'm just saying, be a little quicker before the ball gets out, because if the ball gets out, they pretend like the holding doesn't matter then. You see what I'm getting at there?
For sure.
Because if there's no reason for him to be held at the line and you're just now going, oh, God, I'm being held, they're not going to call it 9 times out of 10, especially late in the game when they've been letting people play. And we've had holding calls not called on the Lions, except on Penei Sewell, of course, who – thank God he had a laundry-free game versus the Raiders, because if he'd have had 2 more penalties, he'd have had more penalties than the rest of the entire O-line combined.
So, yes, Hutch ain't definitely the issue. The other guys need to step up. Now, I want to defend the other guys on this, and this is something I brought up a little bit earlier, but maybe I can put it in a different way. But the other guys, it's not that the other guys aren't stepping up. It's just that Hutchinson is out there all of the time. The other guys are not out there all the time. So they'll put Kaminsky in for 3 plays. Then they put in, Harrison for 3 plays. And then they bring in,
Pascal.
one of the Okwaras. And, they're constantly bringing different guys in. So it's not that they need to step up, but they are about to unlock something, though. Because right now, Aaron Glenn is still playing with lineups. He's got all these different guys that are all really good at rushing the passer in their own way, but he's got to figure out the right combinations of people that play well with each other. And they're still working through that a little bit.
I understand they're working through that, but at the same time, if Hutch is being doubled and triple team and the guys are not beating their one-on-ones on the other side of the line, that's an issue.
Well, but they are. They're beating it on Monday. I think it's more of a consistency thing because they're not doing it in Baltimore. They didn't do it at all in Baltimore, but then they do it in the Atlanta game. They were well. They were good in Oakland. They were good in Atlanta. So
they were good in Green Bay.
And they were good in Green Bay. They weren't so good in Seattle. They lost that game. They weren't even.
We had a lot of pressure, but we had no sacks whatsoever on Mahomes. But the pressure was enough,
right?
Between that and Kadarius Stonehands Jabroni.
Yeah, I mean, Patrick Mahomes was a wizard in getting away from the things, but even at that, you could call that they've had 3 bad games, and they've had the other ones were all pretty good. Right. At getting pressure. So they just need consistency.
Right. And what I'm saying is calling a consistent game plan is what I'm talking about. We haven't seen that. I want to see that consistent game plan with the pressures. If you're stunting one game and it works,
good ones,
why change it?
You've had 5 good game plans and 3 not so good game plans. So it's like I said, I still believe that with all these new toys that Aaron Glenn has, he's still trying to put the toy together, and eventually Voltron's he'll make Voltron, and then I'll form the head, and then when it's there, it's over. It's over for him because you can see the talent.
What I don't want to see anymore is seeing Jack Campbell on the edge and James Houston in coverage, because we saw how that ended.
So this is something right here. Young Keys. I think they should try Jack Campbell. They are trying him at the DN. They're putting him in a like a 3-position thing. Outside linebacker, rushing the pass. A pun intended, Jack linebacker.
Right.
Jack's going to play Jack. He's going to play himself in this movie.
But pretty soon, because he has been getting more snaps at middle linebacker, we may see him, because of the lack of production from Derek Barnes, take over that spot, because you can't take Alex Anzalone out of there right now at middle linebacker.
So Rob, right here, I love this right here. Lions need more in the middle too. Hope Martin can be that. And that's what I think that Brad Holmes bet on and Dan Campbell bet on, is like the development of these guys, not going out and having to get the household name to put in there. They believe in the development and the coaches that these guys are going to be better. I mean, Martin, this was his first game, wasn't it, Jeremy?
That was his first game. He was active.
First game.
And he had 10 snaps, and I'd say about 7 of them were productive. There was 3 where he got 8 up, but he was still taking on double teams.
But I'm curious, like next week when he gets in there, he'll probably play and he'll get 20 snaps.
Right. If he continues to progress like that, he'll be more. The Bugs thing, everybody says, why has he been a healthy scratch so often this year? Because he pissed off the coaching staff. I mean, that's plain and simple. You can't sit there and come in drunk because you got in a fight with your girlfriend and play lackluster in practice. That's what happened at the beginning of the season, or miss a practice because you got brown bottle flu. They don't go for that shit.
In his defense, he came back from that already. And he, I think that they squashed their problem, and he realizes what he is. He's a depth player, and he's got his spot on this team. You can get after him from the middle. He can get 20 productive snaps.
I definitely like Bugs better than Burrito Jones. He gets one play every 50 snaps. He gets one play every 50 snaps he plays. One good play every 50 snaps he plays. Other than that, he disappears.
Well, right, but with them drafting the guys Broderick Martin was the natural replacement for Benito Jones. Somebody's got to go down. So it's either Bugs or Benito Jones if Martin is going to be the mainstay, but that's what they drafted him in the 3rd round for.
I think letting Corey Durden go was the big mistake in keeping Benito Jones, because Corey Durden, he went to another team and he's been playing well.
Sure. I mean, you have to trim fat. I mean, Benito Jones had a sack this year. I mean, Benito Jones has been dominant at times too.
Yeah, like I said, one play every 50.
True? Dobbs is a rocket scientist for a real no bull. He's an actual scientist.
Yeah.
Interesting.
He studied astrophysics.
Oh, it's like he went to Minneapolis because he can get away with all of his Dexter scientist stuff. You didn't tell me that he was all creepy.
He is the QB equivalent of Laken Tomlinson when we drafted him.
Oh, okay. Rob says, I wish the Eagles had last night, but the Seahawks last. So we jumped ahead of the Seahawks now because they lost.
We are the 2 seed.
We're the 2 seed on the NFC side, but even on from the whole NFL side, you had
Miami
got knocked off.
And they have the same record as us. And technically, I don't know how Kansas City still stays ahead of us. It's probably because the AFC is more competitive than the NFC, is the only thing I got. So at the top, I believe it's going to be either the Ravens or Chiefs. Then you got Philly. Then you got Kansas City. Then us is what I'm seeing.
See, that's bullshit. We beat Kansas City, so we're better than Kansas City. So they should put us. That's not even fair. You can't just be like, well, I think they're better anyway.
And like, Sarah, no, you lost. Absolutely right, because the coaching, you can't tell which one's going to score. They should be scoring points on offense in bunches and stopping a lot of teams, and they don't. I don't know what it is with this roster. I understand they have a couple injuries here and there, but you can't use that as an excuse. The Lions have been in one of the most injured defenses and offensive lines all season.
That's why this is a trap game. You're going on the road. Jared Goff isn't. He definitely knocks his performance down a couple pegs when he goes on the road. This is a good team that we're playing.
We're 3-1, both on the road and at home. How do you say that he's been bad on the road? He had one bad game. But he's had one bad game on the road.
I didn't say. I just said that he is better at home than he is on the road. He is noticeably better in the way that he plays. Like, even when they went down to Tampa Bay, I mean, that's like, they leave. It seems like they leave more points on the board when they're on the road, but that's all right. It's all right. He's proven that he can be good.
It has a lot to do. Yep. It also has a lot to do with scheme, because it seems like in the first part of the second halves, every game, whether we've been leading or not, we kind of not do anything in that third quarter. It's been called out.
I'm not going to argue that we should win this game. We should win this game. Like, the way that they have been playing, they have not been a good team, which Charger team. They just haven't been good. Like, they were good on paper at the beginning of the year, and they just haven't lived up to that bill.
Right.
So we should beat this team, but what I'm trying to caution Lion fan is that if this team comes in and upsets us, it's not gonna, from a talent perspective, it won't surprise me all that much. They have the talent to win games. They can beat any team in the NFL with the roster that they have, with Justin Herbert, all those playmakers on offense, Eckler. I mean, come on, man. These guys can put the bunches up on you. And that defense, they spent all the money on the defense. They got dogs. They got players.
Hey, I know a reason why I'm going to tout Isaiah Bugs over Benito Jones. Congrats to him for making Will Harris relevant for one game. Because if he doesn't bat that ball up in the air and Will Harris doesn't get that interception, he wouldn't have had 2 more pass breakups in that same game, because his confidence was shot.
Well, mark it on your calendar right there. It's November 6th, and Russell Wayne and Jeremy Balwick agree. Isaiah Bugs is definitely the pick over. I mean, he's learned his lesson. There's nothing more powerful than somebody that has a revelation comes to an agreement with it in his mind and gets to have that start over thing. That happened to Isaiah Buggs. He's been a different player since he had his talking to in the back room. And I'm sure it was like, stop being a bitch. Don't be acting like that. We're all in the same thing here together. We're all part of this big 67-man roster that we're trying to win a Super Bowl with. And we believe in each other. We believe in the people on the inside of these walls more than we believe in anybody that's on the outside of the wall that we could have gotten.
Right.
It's a pipe dream. I trust my guys.
Well, the other reason why we didn't trade for anybody, it would take 2 restructures that helped the cap this year. I just looked into it. Rags is in his 5th-year option.
Oh, God bless you, Sarah. This is awesome.
She's right though. I thought it was Modern Warfare he was more into.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot. They canceled his subscription. He didn't get all the free ammo that he was looking for.
But we'd have had to restructure either Decker or Goff. Goff isn't restructuring because they've had contract talks on his extension twice. He's not looking to make less money. We can just throw that one out the window. The other one was Decker, because Rags is in his 5th-year option, which is non-negotiable because that's still under the rookie contract. So the only person you could restructure, and it would have to be a significant pay cut to clear enough cap space to have gotten either a Young, a Sweat, or a Danielle Hunter. So I don't think Ragnow is going to go from what he makes as a top 10 salary down to a bottom 32 salary just to clear enough space, because the player has to agree to that.
Right.
That being said, with $6.3 million, we did what we needed to fill a spot where there was a void. Marvin Jones Jr. leaving early due to family issues caused a hole on the roster. We saw no one else outside of our 3 were really stepping up, which Amon-Ra, Josh Reynolds, and Khalif Raymond. We needed a 4th, and that's what he is.
I like Josh Reynolds. Josh Reynolds has been pretty
good. I'm just saying he's a 4th. I'm saying he's a 4th behind those guys.
I like the Peoples Jones. That actually feels pretty good. I mean, I like the idea of, just let Holmes cook, man, because he has some way of talking to players. Like he got Cameron Sutton on an $11 million deal, where the other cornerbacks that were in the same talent bracket were getting $15-16 million. It's like he seems to find the right players that come in with the right mindset that play at a middle level. I think that he could get Frank Ragnow at $10 million a year, or $8 million a year for 3 extra years or something like that.
But that being said, we all know Montez Sweat wasn't the guy because all he had was 2 tackles and no pressures again, which is what I've been trying to tell Bears fans. He's not great, but he's not bad.
He's good. He's a good player that they paid premium money for.
Right. They overpaid with an 8% pressure
you paid
win rate.
Premium. You need to be putting up Joey Bosa, Nick Bosa. You need to be putting up. You got to put up top numbers to get that kind of money. You gave him that kind of money, and he's a good player. And he should get you 10 to 15 sacks
a year once he knows the playbook. but only
he's a physical freak, isn't he? The guy he ran like a 4.40 at the combine.
Was he?
Yeah, he was one of those physical freaks. I like Montez Sweat. That was a good pickup for them. When you're in Bear mode right now, you need talent. That's what you need. You need to go all in, try to find talent. You're going to have to overpay for talent because, we as Lions fans, we know this. You have to overpay to have talents come when you're 3 and whatever. When you're winning 2 wins, you you gotta overpay to get people in. And the minute he said, "Hey, I ain't trying to get worried about contract extensions," they were like, "Okay, how about we just pay the shit out of you?" Oh, well, I guess I can sign that, And so
I have something to ask the Lions fans now because they all complained about it when we didn't get.
Hold on, let me get my banner out. What question?
I want to ask the question: What are you guys still upset that we re-signed Anzalone compared to signing Tremaine or TJ for the Bears? Because everybody was up in arms. Oh my God, they're better than Alex.
Okay.
Go
How
look
about
at their
this?
numbers.
How do you feel about right the Anzalone signing
Now,
now? All right, there you go. All right, that's what I love about
because
StreamYard.
because
Boom, there you go. How do you feel about that Anzalone signing right now? I mean, this guy looks like the best linebacker out of the bunch that got signed in free agency, and it was our own guy.
right.
And
I mean, we re-signed him because he had the most tackles last year, and he was the leader of the defense with the green dot calling all the plays. And I get it. Now I'm going to call him the same nickname I called him, but for a different reason now. Because after that Raiders game, he looked like he was covered in lube. He's still analese because he just penetrated that O line.
oh, I can't do you, man. I can't do it. I
Come on, that
can't
was
do it.
good. That was
That was
good.
good. That was good. That
You like that?
but it's like one of those things earlier. I cut my camera off usually when I start blushing, and you know me in my Christian background. So sometimes when it gets really, really, really dirty, I blush a little bit like that. I'm a little bit soft when it comes to that
Paul
kind of
Jones
thing.
calls him anal zone.
But if you want, let's go deeper here and see. I mean, talking about the anal zone or whatever right here. Let's go deeper into this, and let's go into the 4th round draft pick, Derek Barnes. And what a great year that he's having for the Detroit Lions. I mean, these guys are progressing well. 23 out of 23 of the draft picks are involved with the team. Jamar Jefferson is on the practice squad. So I mean, that's amazing. To me, the thought of trading draft picks for outside players is ludicrous to me when you got a guy that can pick talent like Brad Holmes.
Right. I mean, uh, granted, Jameer Jefferson's just on the practice squad. He may be on the way out after
7th
this year.
round draft
He's a
pick.
7th round draft pick. Woo!
Yeah.
But he's still on the team technically because he's on the practice squad.
Jamison
But the fact
Williams
that
is the closest thing we have to a bust right now.
and he's still developing.
Right. And no one's going to give up on him. And getting Donovan Peoples-Jones doesn't change that. But, when people are talking about, hey, you got to re-sign Goff, you got to re-sign this, we have Goff until the end of next year. And what we really need to be thinking about signing is we got to figure out, are we going to re-sign Derek Barnes? Are we going to re-sign Aleem McNeil? Are we going to re-sign Ifatu Melifanu? Are we going to re-sign Amon-Ra St. Brown? Now, these are the guys that are coming into their contract years.
Yeah, next year is the contract year for Aleem,
Jonah Jackson.
St. Brown, Jonah Jackson. And they said Jonah Jackson was their key this year because of the offensive line and what he's been to it the last 2 seasons. But with what he's been to it this year, I'm almost thinking Glasgow gets the re-signing because he hasn't been available. And you know how they feel about availability.
You pay for offensive line. That's what I think. I think you can develop defensive players and you can develop any of those guys and have them on rookie deals and have that development system, cheaper contracts on the defense like that. But offensive line, pass rusher, I guess I'll say that on defense, but spending the dollars, having the continuity be there with experience is so important. I'm glad we have $100 million offensive line.
Most of the question marks that you have are from the 2021 draft, really. Levi Amuzariki, Josh Pascal, Jameer Jefferson. Those are, and everybody else was before that, right? Because if he's been playing well when he's had to come in and play snaps, he looks like he fits the safety mold better than corner. Because I think he's been doing very well whenever.
And you could get him.
And you can get him cheap, like about $6 to $8 million a year.
I wouldn't even think it would cost that much. I think that they're going to get him on a a veteran type of deal to where it's like 2 extra years for $2.5 million a year or something like that, because he's good, but he ain't going to command no big salaries like that, I don't think. And that's what like Aleem McNeil. I mean, It depends on how he finishes the year, but I thought you might be able to get him. But if he keeps balling out like that, that one might be
I mean, because
that
what has he got? Like 10 tackles for loss and 2.5 sacks now?
right. But he seems like a guy that could give us a hometown discount. When you're trying to win a championship, these guys might come in and do the hometown discount, but you can't keep them all. If you're a Lion fan, let me
Steven's real.
prepare you. Let me prepare you before you comment and talk. I want to prepare a
Yeah.
Lion fan right here. We are going to lose some players after this year.
Right.
Like,
We're only going to be down 12 starters in the offseason. And with 4 picks in the first 2 days of the draft, that's usually where you get starters in the first, second, and third
yep,
round, correct? So that means we got to either re-sign or find 8 players total, right?
right,
But like I said, Iffy, Aleem, and St. Brown, you really don't have to work on them till after the draft. You could
right,
work on filling your roster because they are under contract on their rookie contract, which is
right.
non-negotiable. They have to play. So you could
Well,
work on them after that point if you want.
I think a guy like but maybe not Aleem now. I think Aleem is pulling himself, but Amon Ra and Aleem have to get done. Like you got
Yeah,
to get them done before the season. But like guys like Iffy and Levi and those guys, you could wait till the end of the season. You could probably get a deal, let them go out and try the free agent thing.
and right
And
now even Pascal, because Pascal hasn't been on the field that much too.
yeah, but Pascal's got that. He's Hutchinson year. So, I mean, he's got a full this year, all of next year,
Yeah,
and
that's
then
right. So he's got
they would
another
have
year
to.
yet.
So not this off season,
All
but
right,
the
Aleem was with the same year that we got Levi.
2024 off season is when they're going to be worrying about those picks. So yeah, there's some things that are on the horizon, but as long as Brad Holmes keeps drafting the way that he is, like he's just going to let a lot of these guys go because this is system stuff.
The bigger problem
He'll
is
pay
the 20.
Hutch,
Yeah,
but that's it on the defensive line.
The bigger problem is the 2025 offseason. Because if you look at who's off the roster then, it's 36 starters that have to be re-upped that year. But we
got plenty of money to
right, we're
handle all.
subjective right now, but that's
yeah.
without any contract extensions through here or restructures or anything else. But right now we're projected to have like 120 million in cap space because of it.
All right, so we bored the other 3 fan bases in there, right there. Let's talk. Let's switch gears right here. Let's get back into this Montez Sweat, 4 years, $98 million, almost 75 guaranteed. So the incentives equal about 105 million. I would have never paid Tremaine Edmonds that money. Sanborn is a better linebacker. Oh, okay.
Right.
So he's talking about is that
Sweat? That's Sweat's
Sweat?
contract, but Tremaine's getting almost 18 million a year too.
Right. So,
and I never would have gave that much money for a linebacker.
Yeah, the TJ Edwards contract was a very good deal for you, and this other one wasn't. Like TJ Edwards is a good linebacker. But hey, you know what? Like I said, you got to pay it. You got to pay it if you want to build that team.
And when you have a losing record, your team tends to overpay. You're talking to a team that's done that for years, and we know. We've been there. We've watched countless GMs overpay bloated contracts to players that didn't deserve it. A la Snacks, a la Trey Flowers, a la, what was his name? The linebacker we got from the Patriots too. Jamie Collins.
Levi is a big right now.
Big question mark right now.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. Levi, but here's the thing about Levi is like when it comes to Brad Holmes draft picks is he's on the team, he's practicing with the team, and he's making contributions to the team, even though it's smaller contributions. And that's just because Broderick Martin, and that's just because Isaiah Buggs and Benito Jones are other good picks are outplaying him. So maybe
Steve
it doesn't work.
Steve is real says the Packers have a $3.75 offensive line. Oh, that's cracking me up.
Well, I thought Bakhtiari was getting paid some dough. They're paying him. He's got some dough in there, right? Pascal is good if he can stay healthy. I think that we need him to stay healthy for a playoff run. I would like to see him
Absolutely.
healthy for a 10-game stretch and see if he's. I mean, we don't even know if this guy's good yet. I mean, he's shown flashes of being very good so far, but he hasn't had the reps to, you got to get out there and get experience. So the more he gets out there, I mean, he's a second round pick. It
Yep.
wouldn't surprise me if he's really good. I mean, and we got a bunch of guys like that.
Yep. Beardo, now that we've paid Sweat and Billings, does Jalen get paid? There's a good chance of that, but Jalen also mentioned his disdain for the team prior to getting Sweat and was asking for a trade, and you guys decided not to be sellers and to be buyers. So he may refuse anything, but you guys could still franchise tag him.
See, that's not a good deal. You don't want to have that. I don't think that you're going to pay him. I mean, that's just my honest opinion. But
And
whenever you have a guy
A-Dub,
that openly criticized you, that's tough, man. That's tough.
and A-Dub's exactly right. No. I said he was either a UDFA or a late round pick, is what I said, Steve Israel. I didn't narrow it down to one or the other. I didn't remember what he was because the draft was 7 months ago.
Right.
And
Okay.
it wasn't my team.
You know what the 7th round is, right? It's the first round of the UDFA. You just get to
Pretty
pick your
much.
first
You
guy.
get
It's
lucky.
like most of those guys are right in that. But it's good to see you in there, Steve. I mean, I know that you guys get you are one of the Packer fans, and I'm going to say this right there. Steve is real. Yeah. So Packer fans that have actually been there, A-Dub, Steve is real. Yeah. Are the two Packer fans that stuck through those losses. They were here every week. They backed their team.
I agree with that right there. The A-Dub says Bakhtiari is just one more expendable guy that will be gone next year. You're absolutely right.
Yep.
Can't stay on the field. You don't belong on the field.
Yep, and that frees up even more cap space. So he gets out of there. You're looking at 50, 60 extra $1 million that you're going to get to spend next year. And you can bring in some veteran presence or maybe some old Green Bay Packers that were good that went to other teams you can bring back.
You know, let's talk about the fan base we should all feel sorry for out of the NFC North. It was a team that made the playoffs last year and now look like absolute dog crap. The New York Giants.
Oh,
my
man.
God. Danny Pesos gets hurt and out for the season. You can't call him Danny Dimes anymore. He doesn't drop dimes unless you count it going to the other colored jersey.
Danny Pesos. Oh my gosh, that's good. You know what? I didn't want to talk about the Giants, but this does relate. We usually just talk about the NFC North, but this relates to the NFC North. How does it do that? One Mike Valenti from 97 won the tickets, just so happens to be a sack of shit Giants fan. Yeah. And he's on his show running his mouth like he thinks that we should stop singing Forward Down the Field because it I don't know if it offends him or whatever, but he's part of this BS cancel culture thing. But I'm going to tell you something right now, Mike Valenti, you Giants fan with your dog shit team. We will sing Forward Down the Field in the Lions Den after every single touchdown, whether you like it or whether you don't like it. You go up, you make a deal with Kid Rock, have Kid Rock remake the song or whatever it is that you're going to do to make it cool. But we will sing that 1930s edition of Forward Down the Field after every single touchdown. And there ain't a damn thing that you can do about that.
And you know what I do?
And Danny Pesos sucks.
Right. And at the end of every post-game show that I do when I review them, what do I sing at the end of it if it's a win? Forward Down the Field.
Forward Down the Field. We're going to actually put a couple of cameras. Like I think that Mike bought a couple of those cheap high-definition Temu cameras from China that we're going to plant into the the Lions Den so we can capture the moments, or maybe even send live feeds in there after we score touchdowns, because that is a wild, mystical place in Burton, Michigan. And actually, I think that Jeremy B needs to be extended an invite, and I'm gonna ask Gary if I can bring Smoking Jeremy B to this next Lions game right there, because I think that you would love this band of misfits that shake their hand and cuss at the television screen and drink beer and smoke stuff. Like,
if I can smoke my cigarettes at the same time, I'm good.
That's right. That's right. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm getting to the end of this. This was a great event. Who knows? Maybe Biting Kneecaps might end up being on the Main Event Network on one of these things, because we only go from 11 to 12. And you know what? I watch Woodward Sports and they go all day long. So maybe we can have some of these characters start overlapping here and there.
By the way, Russell, thanks again. The response so far to the intro is it's straight fire.
Awesome. It's always cool to have a nice intro, right? To have some cool like plays going on behind you. And, and I know that it's hard with the copyrighted music type of stuff right there. And you just, have to know how to handle those types of people. You got to know what right things to say to them, and you got to pay the right guy. You got to give the right guy money. Oh my gosh. But it's been great football. So go ahead and plug the show, Jeremy B. Go in there while I put this awesome graphic up of the butt hurt.
Let the butt hurt flow through you. Yes. Much butt hurt I sent in you. Cry like a bitch you should. That being said, my show is the Kneecap Biting with the Motor City Lions. Check us out on Wednesdays when I do my NFL show, where I talk about the 3 top news throughout the week. And also on Fridays, which is my Lions Fan Cave chat, which I also include the pregame show for the weekend games, unless it's a Thursday night game. Then I do it after the Wednesday show. And my postgame show is always on Mondays.
Beautiful. And this has been a Football Talk with Russell Wayne. I've been doing this every weekday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern time. Been doing this since the middle of the summertime. It's been very fun. I'm overwhelmed and very humbled by the response that we've had so far. Over 9,000 people on our Facebook page right now. If you could go follow that, if you haven't done it already, we're approaching 10,000. That's a pretty substantial landmark in the Facebook world. So we appreciate you helping us get there. We appreciate the Detroit Lions News for helping us get there. And it feels nice to be able to scratch your back by, having some people be watching this show, and I can direct you to the Detroit Lion News. They have good content 365 days a year. Good controversial content, good stuff right there. And to answer any of the questions, Dan Campbell is here for you. And the answer is always the same. So for all of you that are out there, in all seriousness, we love that we have a community of people that love talking football every single morning. And I'm going to leave you with this blessing right here that I do every day. So may the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. May the Lord shine his face upon you until we meet again tonight for NFC North Open Mic. God bless. All right, everybody. I want to thank everybody for watching this episode of Football Talk with Russell Wayne. And I'm going to do this right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to throw the YouTube link from this broadcast into the comments, right? And then you can go to that YouTube link. If you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel yet, we would love it if you would do that. And if you're watching this video right now, please hit the like button on whatever video that you're watching. You did a phenomenal job on YouTube today. 15 people watching right now with 21 likes. That's the numbers that we like. We like to have everybody be able to participate. We're midway through the season right now. How are you feeling? How are you feeling about your team? I would think that the Vikings might have a glimmer of hope. How are you feeling, fan base? Skull Nation. I know Sarah's out there. Sarah's starting to, she drank a little bit of that purple drink a little bit. She's took a couple sips. She might believe in Josh Dobbs. I might believe in Josh Dobbs. That was kind of fun watching him run around there. He's an exciting player.
Smart player. Thanks for having me, Russ.
Oh, you're good, man.
Have a great day, everybody. Don't forget to smash that like button down there.
Smash it. I'm talking Macho Man Randy Savage from the top rope, drop an elbow onto that like button. Ooh yeah. The Macho Man. Yeah, he was one of our guests on here. We got to get Macho Man back on here. He was a great Lions fan.
Nice.
And you're a great football fan out there. If you're listening to my voice right now, you are a great football fan, because that's the only reason why you'd be listening to my voice right now. Unless it was an accident. If you were looking for your favorite cooking channel and an eye popped up, oh, it sucks for you. Man, what the hell is this guy talking about? I wanted to learn how to make a chicken breast. But Main Event Mike can help you with that. He can teach you how to make a chicken breast, because he's an excellent cook. He's actually got a television show out there, The Melody Grill. He might get syndicated nationwide. PBS, baby. Congratulations to Mike Abraham, Main Event Mike. He'll be hosting a show tonight. The King of Sting. He promised that he would be nice. He's gonna be gentle with his sting. But join us tonight for the open mic, 7 p.m. We invite everybody from the NFC North, and really anybody from any fan base. We love talking football. Each and every Monday. Tomorrow morning is PFF Tuesdays. We're going to get into the nerdy numbers. So all you analytical football fans that are out there, yeah, you know who you are. Look at these numbers. Check at these PFF numbers. Maybe I can even get Jeremy Ballrick to dig up some of them next gen stats, and we'll get all dorky tomorrow. Football Talk with Russell Wayne. Just so you know, we're not affiliated with the Detroit Lions. We don't get paid by the Detroit Lions. We do this because we love it. We love football. We love our families. But we love our families more than we love our football. We use football to bring our families together. And I hope that you do the same thing. Use football. Don't let football use you. We love the opportunity to sing forward down the field after every single touchdown. God bless you, Gary Loafman in the Lions Den. God bless you, Bob Wisely. Thank you for giving me my Detroit Lions set behind me. God bless you, Main Event Mike, for being a good friend and partner. God bless you, Sir Slap Nasty, GT from And We Know Sports, for being a friend and one of the greatest bass players. February 17th, by the way, my Tool tribute's going to be playing at the Machine Shop in Flint. We're going to make the tickets available on this show. I would love to get some of you guys out there. Maybe we even give some away. But we're going to end this program like we end every day. There's nothing that is better than to end a program with some Green Bay tears. There you go. Peace out.
It's not fair. They were so happy. It's not gonna be okay.
What's going on, Russell Wayne and the Main Event 365 Network? This is Jason Kabinda from the Detroit Lions. Here to give y'all a shout out, man. We appreciate all the support, man. Know you guys are big fans. Know that you guys are rooting for us to take the North this year, and we're going to do just that, man. Appreciate you guys so much. Just want to give y'all a shout out. You have a great day.